Hi, my name is Lucas Kaduchak, and we're with Tom, Will, and Josh. And Josh, he actually owns his own business. Josh, you want to talk about that?
Oh, yes, I do. I like how we're getting straight to the point. I like your guys' thinking.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right,
there's
so
no
what's
reason
up?
to drag it out.
Oh, we started.
Oh, yes, we did. We did.
Yeah, Tom, we
All
did
right, so
start. Yeah,
Sorry. That's my bad.
it's okay.
all right, so hey guys, I'm Josh, and right now I'm running my own business. Right now I just do like general contracting stuff and also like manage jobs, like subcontracting some things out. So I know some things I've done right now is I have a lot of experience in drywall. I've done some kitchen remodels. Um, I've done a lot of painting. I've done flooring, a lot of fences. I'm really good at fences, painting fences, shit like that. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So, like, how long have you guys been in business for now? Like,
I
So,
think we've been in business for a solid year now.
is it just you, or is it you and someone else?
It's me and my father.
Oh, your father.
Yes, he's teaching me kind of the ropes. I'm kind of learning a lot of stuff from him, and then I'm just kind of taking the stuff I learned from him, either teaching myself, learning some stuff,
And you've
and then building upon it.
and you've mentioned in the past that he's kind of moving on from this business a bit, right?
Yeah, like basically his like plan is for it's kind of to support me and my mom and for both of us to instead become like the people who are running this business instead of me and him because he has of course his career with JB Hunt. He works in supply chain and he's like a big manager right now.
Ah,
So like he runs his account.
A big
But
guy,
in the next
huh?
couple of years, yeah, he's a big guy. In the next couple of years, he's probably going to get a promotion, which would put him in a higher position, which would definitely, he need to devote more time towards his like career.
oh yeah, yeah.
So his plan is to have my mom and myself kind of be running the business, with my mom running like financials and with me running crews, either landscaping or remodeling, drywall, you name it.
And this is all for you to, or for your family to support themselves.
In fact, it would become like a really big source of income, but in a way, right now, it's like supplementary income, considering my dad already makes like really good money with JB Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really having money problems anyway.
No, not at all. We're
Alright.
definitely not hurting.
Mm-hmm. So this is something probably for the future, or not exactly for the now.
It is. I think it's both of those. It's something where we're taking this opportunity, basically, where we get this opportunity to like build a business and we're just expanding it and we're going to eventually build like a company for our family, really. So for my brothers, because I have my two brothers, two younger brothers,
Are
and
they
my
like really young? Like
yes, they're a lot younger. My one brother's about to turn 8, and my youngest brother is a little bit over a year old.
Oh,
right, that's really young.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very young.
Mm-hmm.
So the plan really is just build something that I can, support my brothers with,
And they can
and
eventually
build
take
something
over.
I can support myself with. And like the whole plan is, man, it's just make enough money. Like I could put myself through college at this rate. Like I'm making enough money to be able to do that,
yeah.
which is crazy to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Damn,
mean,
wish
that
I
is
had a
absolutely
job.
crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I was actually kind of wondering in general because you guys have been in business for around a year, so that means like during like about half the time you guys have been in business has been during quarantine.
Yeah.
Has that like affected anything, or are you guys kind of just like business as usual, or what's?
Oh, I will say we got really lucky is because we actually got one of our biggest jobs, and it was like in the smack dab middle of quarantine,
Mm.
Mm.
and it was like a close friend, so we were able to go over to their house and start remodeling their basement, basically without ever seeing them. So because they
Oh.
didn't live down there, because their basement flooded, because it was like finished, but it didn't look very good, so they're eventually considering remodeling it, but big flood, big rains in the summer, and their basement flooded, and it was really messed up. They had to have a Surf Pro come in, and they had to cut off like 3 feet of drywall up. And so
Jeez.
that's where I got a lot of my experience doing drywall and painting, is because I was the one, and my dad and I, we ordered tons of sheets of drywall, we cut them up, and we put them into size, screwed them into metal studs, and then taped over them, and boom, we
Yeah.
basically built walls. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So we got that opportunity to work in his basement and to really stay away from him. So we were able to remain social distancing well at the same time staying occupied, making money. So, and that was great. And that's where I kind of I I can see that I've matured a lot recently, and I think just that job in general kind of helped hone in who I am right now and helped kind of build me like as like a character in general is
Yeah.
because like when you wake up early like that because my dad and I would wake up at like 5:30, eat our breakfast, out the door at 6,
Oh,
and then we'd be on the road. We had to drive up to like near Chicago.
hmm
And it's just I don't know. It's like when you get in the mindset of working like that, it kind of made some things click in my head, right? Where I'm thinking like, oh man, this is work. This is I'm getting experience in life. I'm like really progressing myself as an individual and learning about life through just going through the days. And we would do longer days. We do like 10, 11 hour days sometimes. On average, it was more probably like 8 to 10 hours.
hmm
Hmm.
But we were there for a while and we did a lot of work and we made that basement look really
That's
good. And
awesome, dude.
it's crazy to see. I know they did a lot of the painting. We did basically it's just insane now to go back and see it. It's like, wow, this was a basement and now this is a livable space.
Yeah, like honestly, I remember when I got my first job, and like I had that exact. I mean, it probably wasn't on the same level as you, but like I had the exact same feeling. Is like your entire worldview kind of shifts because especially like from going from being a kid who doesn't really care about anything or has to worry about anything like money to like really having that sort of income and having to have like a work ethic and knowing how to suck it up and really just deal
Exactly.
with stuff you don't like. And it's just a really interesting, like it's an interesting transition. Like I think it's really something that a lot of people, or all people should experience at some point in their life.
Yeah, I haven't ever really had like a job where I've had to like job
Dude,
like
me
work
and
for a salary.
me and Will cannot relate to this at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because you guys are talking about like
Nothing.
this, like finding
Zero
a new
doubt.
meaning in
I
life
know
through work.
tons.
Well, it's not on a level of finding new meat, but it's like
Yeah.
you just start to notice things. It's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, it's just kind of like you realize things aren't as easy as you'd
Mhm.
think they would be and stuff like that.
Yeah, like we all have that one thing, and it'll happen multiple times where like our whole view on life is just odd, just changed. Just it's so different than before. Like, I
Oh, you'll
mean,
never guess when that happened for me.
let's hear about that.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
happened to you, Tom?
when my father died a year ago,
Yeah.
That is pretty life changing.
and then my mother came out as a lesbian, and yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's much more to this. I
That's
mean,
usually your father dying before you even have your first like job is not a great sign. Crazy thought.
mhm.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like I look at my experience now and everything I've learned from my dad, and I really do like I feel a lot of like remorse for you, Tom, is because I look at all the experience I've earned just like from my dad in general and all the shit that I've learned and like the stuff that he's gonna do to help me in the future. And I'm like, fuck man, like you aren't really gonna have that person to support you as much. Like all of that weight's kind of gone onto your moms.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, and there is like I'm not gonna lie, there is definitely like a gender divide between moms and dads because there are some things that dads understand and there are definitely some things that moms understand.
Yeah, and I think that's just a normal like I was taking a psychology class and it's just a
Mhm.
simple fact that there are differences between men and women. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
the way they think and the
For sure.
the hormonal balances. It's just it's like it's just different is really it. It's like the experience that a mother has compared to a father is like completely different.
Personally, though, I can say that as someone who's had both a straight couple and two women raising me, I can say that there really isn't that big of a difference. Honestly, like it's extremely similar.
Like, is it like sort of like the whole like one of them wears the pants sort of thing?
No, they're just gay, you know. No one wears the pants. They work together. They are, just a couple. There's no
Mhm.
person in charge, and I feel like
Mhm.
the fact that's still general stereotype is kind of an issue.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is awesome though that
Oh, yeah.
especially for your mother, that she was able to, move past that and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandmother's not too happy.
I mean, yeah, that's
Well,
understandable.
I couldn't.
Couldn't imagine
Especially
why.
See
for that
why.
time, you know.
Boomers, man.
Yeah. I don't think she's ever gonna tell my great grandfather. She's just gonna like. I don't know. I don't even know if she did.
Just wait till he croaks. Is that like? The
I honestly don't know. I'd have to ask her.
plan?
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
don't-
like-
It is really nice to be in a sort of relaxed parental situation where they really don't like. They aren't strict, or like, any of those that demanding shit. It's a very relaxed home life that I've got going on here.
So when you
laid back.
when you say
like, I can-
when you say they're not strict, do you think of them as like a parent or a friend? Because
Well, I still think of them
Mhm.
as a parent, right? But it's interesting because while I still think of them as a parent, I think of them as a human. You know,
they're not
There's
just
a lot
your
of-
mom.
a lot of people have a disconnect between thinking of their parents as another human being just like them, and think of them as, well, just their parents.
Mhm.
Like I can swear at my parents. They don't care.
I cannot.
It's just a word, and it's
I mean,
like,
yeah. I have a sort of similar thing going on with like my dad and my mom. It's very casual sort of
Mhm.
It's yeah.
and once you get to the age and show the responsibility, I guess, required to prove that you can handle yourself, I mean, they start to view you as your own person too.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
Of course,
sure.
my mom is, I think, always viewed me that way. My siblings know, but me, yeah. So
Because my
It's-
friend,
it's definitely interesting.
her mom, her parents are divorced. Her mom tries to act like a friend, so she like doesn't discipline them at all.
Oof.
Which,
That's
That's
never
not
good.
good.
in theory, when you think about that, but like before you actually think about it, it sounds great. You can do whatever you want, and they're not, and they might get mad, but they're not actually gonna do anything. But you
Yeah, no,
see,
it's not.
No, that's
her
not
versus her sister, who she mainly spends time at her dad's house. Sister spends time at her mom's. There is such a divide between them. Like, they are so different.
Because they're raised in completely different environments.
Well, yeah.
Actually,
think,
until like their middle school, they were raised in the same environment, both by their dad.
Well, I think around middle school, like around a little bit after that time, that's when it really starts to show what kind of household you're raised in. And that's like, I know like high school, end of middle school is like when you really start developing your character. Because prior to that, you don't really have the pressure of, being an individual. It's more, following the rules and getting your stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think when you get to high school, it's more of, oh, this person's doing this, and this person's, different. This person's unique because of this. It makes them like appealing to a college or a job application, which is something you never would have to think about because you're in middle school. So why
Yeah.
would you have to develop that character? But like,
I think
yeah.
on the topic of sort of parenting and stuff, I think like who do you think have been like major mentors in your life, Josh? You mentioned your father having a major part in you learning about.
Lucky.
Sorry, Tom. But,
Oh my god.
that's rough, man. No, I think it's interesting, man, because I think my mom and my dad have both had really big effects on my life, mentoring wise, and just raising me in general.
Yeah.
It's in like I know you guys are talking about the kind of the connection, like recognizing this person's an actual human versus recognizing them as like someone who's below you that you like command in a way.
Well, I don't think I've ever viewed my parent. I've always viewed my. I'd say when I was younger, I more viewed my parents as like rather like an ideal rather than like a You know what I mean? Like they were like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like they're like the idea. They're that. Like,
Yeah, it's like when you're younger, you're like, oh, they can never
do.
mess up. They can never make a mistake. That
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
But yeah, these are definitely people, and I know I've had a lot more of like that. I think I've had a lot more of that experience than I think you guys, just because like my parents are really, really young. Like,
Oh yeah,
um,
no.
and
How
it just
how
makes
old
us. Where's
were
it?
they? How old were they when they had you? Like
It's slipping from my mind right now, but I know my parents are both 32 right now.
that must be a really weird feeling to be
It,
older than the age that your father had children.
yeah,
Oh, I
it's
didn't know
definitely
that.
something that's interesting. Just considering like looking at myself right now, I could never imagine me being able to support a child. Like I see like with my brother and like caring for my brother, I see like some of those qualities where I could be, and I plan to be a father eventually, right?
Mhm.
But I could never put myself in the shoes of doing that right now.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think,
To be
no, for
forced
sure.
into it.
I think it's just too. It's yeah, it's.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
I think
you
I
say
think
that
it's
now. Well, you say that now, and then you have like, if theoretically, if you were to, you'd have that 9 months of knowing and mentally preparing yourself, which is probably what he had, which is why you turned out good, because like that was his priority.
Wait, he turned out good?
yeah,
Hold on, are we looking at the same notepad here?
Well,
Hold on, let me check my
compared
notes.
to some
you
others,
use notepads, man. It's 2020. Get an iPad. What are you doing?
iPad, what?
get a Google Pad.
Jeez, this man's like a dinosaur.
Listen, we don't do that here. We don't use iPads here.
We don't use
Only
pads here. We use
We only use
book.
old
You guys
notebooks.
to go modern. Jesus, you gotta get out the legal pad and the pen.
This podcast
You
is
don't-
going on a videotape, not on any sort of
the-
streaming service at all.
Yeah,
You
you
don't
gotta
need to-
record the cassette.
You don't have to encrypt any of your data if it's all in your own handwriting, so no one else can
Well,
read it. You know.
We will burn it to a CD.
Put it to a CD. No, cassettes, you know.
Yeah, or put it
No,
on
we'll
a
put it on
record.
a. Yeah, we're gonna. I
Yeah.
was about to say we'll put it on a record. Those are coming back. Those are coming back. People like
Bring
those.
back a record.
Okay. Let's
Coming
talk about
back.
that trend right now because honestly, it annoys the hell out of me.
Oh my
Really?
god!
Why are teenage girls buying vinyls?
Okay,
Oh,
listen.
yeah.
So I actually, you know what? I have to give them some credit because listen, music does sound different on vinyl. It
Oh
does.
yes.
It sounds way different on vinyl, and it's
Yeah,
like
for sure, but like, why? You're just putting money. You have
It's an-
Spotify
it
and
is
like
an aesthetic.
AirPods.
It is
I
an
think
aesthetic.
it's I don't know. I think
I-
like my dad personally has had like a lot of records. Like he's really big into like sort of like the old heavy metal era of stuff.
Right.
Like sort of like Iron Maiden, Metallica.
Hmm.
That sort of those sort of bands and like.
See,
So
what
he's-
I think it is, there is a very big difference still in society between owning something and having access to it. Like,
Yeah.
I have access to, well, too many Steam games, too much money worth of Steam games, but it doesn't feel real, right? Like, I don't feel the weight of all the money I've wasted. Because it's not physical and in front of me.
Wasted or invested?
Wasted, probably. I
Prob-
mean,
okay,
depends on the game, but
let's
wasted.
stick with wasted. Let's stick
I've
with
only
wasted.
been playing video games on Steam for I think what now, 4-5 years, and
Dang, I got
I've
4 or 5
spent
months.
over $2,000
Jesus Christ, you have like an
on-
addiction. That's like a
on-
$500 a year.
on Steam itself. Yes, it is almost 5. Yeah, I've had 2 computers in that span. The first one cost roughly 900, 800, and the second one cost roughly 1,000, 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
Monitors, I think I've spent around about 200 on them. LED lights and that kind of shit, I think I've spent over $100 on that alone. Microphones and headphones and
Oh, yeah.
keyboards and mice, I've spent, I'd say, around 200 on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sort of do agree with that sort of material thing because I feel like when you're buying stuff online or like you're paying for a service online, it doesn't really feel real. It's like
yes.
it's like you're not
Yeah.
spending money at all. You know what I mean?
Because it's the feeling of going to like GameStop and giving your money, physically handing your money to the cashier, and they give you that game. It is a much different feeling because you
It-
can just click card number,
grounds you,
click,
Yeah.
This is most definitely why, like, I know a lot of people say, like, one day all big box retailers are going to die out. And I think, I have a firm belief that they're going to downsize a lot, like
Mhm.
in-person locations, but I don't think in-person locations will ever die out in general because there is a certain satisfying thing of walking into a store, requesting a product, getting the product, and leaving with that product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rather than going into your online cart, clicking your mouse, and then boom, it shows up at your house.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm gonna use my dad as an example again. He's really big into guitar and like.
Oh yeah, that
Dude, having one of those
he
is
does.
so cool.
What I find he does is he's like he goes online, he looks for the guitar he wants, but then he goes to a shop
Yes.
and gets it. It's like, and I feel like I kind of do that too a bit. Like I kind of look like not necessarily with guitars. I've never really been big on that, but like, like I think that's like sort of a really common thing for people to do is like sort of just look online and find stuff that they like and then attempt to find it in the store.
Yeah.
now for sure. Like I know I'm gonna touch on this. I actually play guitar. If you didn't know, Lucas.
No, I didn't. You
and-
never mentioned
yeah.
it.
And
previous.
one thing about guitars is, yes, you can look online all you want, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
guitars are all made of different woods.
Mhm.
They're like balanced differently. The
Each-
strings, the action,
guitar
all
is-
these
I mean,
little things
Yeah, that's
make
true.
them feel comfortable in your
did
lap,
So
right?
many products
did-
that you actually have to buy in person, and you really
Mhm.
You
can't buy online because it's just not the same at all. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of things fill that niche. Like I think skateboards, any musical instrument,
Yep.
For sure.
vehicles for sure.
Mhm.
Let's see, what else is there?
So for example, I have a drum set
clothing,
in my basement,
honestly.
right? I have bought all of that online. And when it shows to my house and when I set it up and like I play it, it is not what I was expecting because I've never heard it played before. Like because I went to Guitar Center and I was playing on some of the electronic drum kits and like I was actually like knowing how it would feel before I bought it or before I now have it in my home. It's
Yeah.
it's just there's something about online shopping is you just really, if it's something that you're going to use, like it's something like a musical instrument, you cannot just buy it online.
I think
it's less of
admittedly,
a personal experience. Like you need to get that personal experience when you buy an item because you want to feel it. Because if you're going to be using this item as often and as much as like a musical instrument or a car or just about anything that becomes like your day to day, like you can't go online and really buy a watch, right? Like you want to see it on your wrist, you want to feel how much it weighs, you want to feel how solid it is, right? Like you can't buy shoes online. That's really hard because like, oh man, this could fit differently than that shoe because it's designed a little different.
You
I mean,
can't buy clothes
admittedly,
online.
I've played a little bit of guitar. Like obviously, my dad at one point was like, "Yeah, you should try this," and I was like, "Okay." I mean, it didn't really stick with me, but either way, yeah, I completely agree. And I also did a little bit of golf, and it was sort of the same thing. Is like you like to feel how the grip feels of the club. Like I never bought clubs online. I was always buying them from like stores or places. I think the main thing with it is like, and we mentioned cars earlier and all that sort of stuff is like I think when it has like sort of more of a regular use sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like it's a tool or it's something you're wearing or like like it's something you're going to be seeing a lot of. I feel like that's when people actually begin to care about actually holding, touching, feeling, seeing like in person the thing that they want to buy,
Yeah. Say something like a keyboard, for example, right? Because I put a keyboard on my Christmas wish list, right? And I'm pretty sure it's the one I want. I don't know how it feels.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Razer, so it's gonna be fine. It's the Huntsman or whatever. But like,
not necessarily. I mean, Razor's kind of overpriced. It's still good, but it's it's okay. A lot of companies do that, like where their name brand itself allows them to overcharge for it. Gucci,
Nike,
Razer, and Apple, obviously, all charge more than the product is worth simply for the.
Well, yeah, it's like I guess it would be like paying. It's like paying for the clout. You know what I mean?
You are though.
It is. Yeah, that is 100% what it is.
But you're paying for like a feeling. You're paying for a brand, not a product.
Yeah,
Now,
honestly,
I'm gonna cut
higher.
you off right there for a second because you mentioned Apple a minute ago.
Yeah.
and I disagree entirely, at least with some aspects of it, because I feel like Apple, you're getting what you pay for. But
True.
I think that's for another debate, because that's
Man.
like when you start dabbing into like
Listen,
all the little details. Like there's some things that I will agree that yes,
No.
Apple is overcharging for, right? But there are
Well,
some
here,
things that Apple is charging for, like the ability to.
Josh,
What?
how much money did the newest Apple phone cost?
I
Do
think
you know off the top of your head?
1500.
I did not
1500, right?
buy it. I think no, I don't think. No, I think it was like $1,000.
$1,000, right?
Well, each one's $1,000 when it comes out.
Yeah.
Sure, but see, $1,000
Mhm.
for a phone.
Yes.
Well,
That's just unreasonable. That's a
No,
luxury item.
well, no.
It is
Here you
most
see.
definitely a luxury item that has just the ultimate functionality and the feeling. And yes, like you mentioned before, indeed, it has some clout because you know it's a quality product because it's good shit.
Because
I think-
also, but Apple, now when you say for the cloud, Apple is way overcharging their products. Cause you know how they have like a new charger and everything, and how they remove the headphone jack and all that stuff.
What about it?
Like so, I still have an iPhone 6 with a headphone jack.
Yeah.
I have never used that headphone jack in like 2 years since they made the new 7s because all the headphones went into the power supply, and they forced you to buy their Beats or their AirPods, and with the new iPhone 12 they
you
have a
could
new
use-
charger and they're forcing you to
You could
buy
always
that.
use third party.
True.
They're not necessarily forcing you. I mean, the functionality is there. Like you got to think of like AirPods. You open them up, boom, they're connected, just like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think in terms of like the price of Apple, I don't think that's fully has to do with like the name brand sort of thing. I think the real. Have you ever heard the saying that things don't cost how much they make to produce; they cost how much they made to produce the first one.
Exactly, and that's how like these items will stay that way because you got to think these items. It's literally like silicone, metal, all these random metals and shit, dude. It's got to cost them like under $100 to produce an iPhone when
Yes.
it gets to like the grand scheme of things. But you got to think of all that produced, all the
Yeah,
producing.
they have to pay the people who designed it, the
Exactly.
people who put it together, the people who programmed it. You know,
The people
it's like
who got the medals in the first place.
the people
and,
who
and nobody
advertised it.
made the machines that they used to produce these machines.
Yeah, they had to buy these machines, these facilities.
They had to make them.
distribution.
That's the thing, Will. You can't buy these machines because they had to make the
Oh.
things to make the things.
Oh
That's
yeah,
capitalism, baby.
You can't buy an iPhone production like facility. You have to make an iPhone production facility.
Yeah.
But I digress. We should probably like stick back to original topic because we're gonna just keep going on this path.
Are we already moving on to the
Well, I mean, yeah, we've gone
I
down.
mean, we're already on. I mean, who
cares?
cares? Who cares?
I mean-
Who's actually gonna listen to this first episode?
That's true. Who's gonna listen to any of this? Honestly, I'm not expecting anyone at all.
Millions of viewers.
You know,
that's it.
I'll say
Millions of viewers.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be drowning in money.
Oh, this is all for us.
Fuck man, they're gonna see my name. They're gonna be like, "Oh man, I gotta listen to this shit. This is gonna be good."
They're gonna be like, oh shit, that guy owns a business. You know what? I know.
They got CEO Josh Corp
Oh,
on
Josh,
there.
Josh, plug your
Fuck, man,
business,
I gotta
plug your
get on
business.
this.
Yeah, dude,
You're
I'll
fucking-
plug it on my LinkedIn.
Yeah, y'all need some contracting. Paint a fence, build a fence.
Yeah.
He'll do it.
Yeah, hey,
Build
if
a
you,
fence
if it,
workshop, you know?
Josh,
I
with
can
all your
draw
clout,
really
could you,
well.
with all your clout, could you like could you shout me out? Maybe help me get some
Yeah.
other sales jobs. Maybe
Yeah,
sell
yeah.
some windows.
Maybe get me off this
Yeah.
goddamn wind.
Listen, man, I need to book a
He went. He
Shit
went.
out of me.
He went. Get me off these windows. Hello, mother.
Yeah.
No.
No, I need to book some more appointments, please.
Must sell a window.
I
I
need
need
to
to
sell
sell
windows.
windows. You know.
Need to sell windows. I need to. Listen, man, I want to get VR or maybe a PS5. I need to sell some windows.
You do need to sell some windows. You gotta get that sweet commission.
You'd be surprised on how many because you think, right, you buy a window maybe each family buys a window once every 5 years, right? Once you get you put in a house, right, and then you have windows, you're not gonna need new windows for a while. Maybe one will break.
But you know nothing about
It's
windows.
usually-
Will.
Okay, listen,
5 years is nothing. That is not
Gentlemen.
at all.
gentlemen. people don't replace windows. Like, okay, say you move into a house, the house is brand fucking new. It was built yesterday.
Mhm.
Okay,
Don't
people
replace
aren't going to replace those windows for 20 years because that's when you start seeing problems. Okay, I know this. I have to know this.
Oh, yeah.
I sell these things. Like people, like because that's people eventually one day after 20 years step outside and they go, "Oh fuck, my windows are made of wood and they are literally rotting out of my house." And even then, usually they don't care, or they're made out of vinyl and they're like, "Wow, I wonder why my house is so cold and my energy bill is so high." And it's because their
Mhm.
windows are like literally 27 years old, like about to fall out of their house, completely rusted over, and like all the gas they put inside the windows that keep it from your
Oh,
house.
no,
Guys,
from
do you
down
no more
remember?
arguing.
Guys, do you remember inviting a nerd into this call? I don't remember inviting a nerd here.
Hey,
You're right.
hey,
How did you get in here, Tom?
can't
Tom,
talk.
how'd you get in here?
No,
You can't
I'm
talk.
a
I'm
cool
a
guy. No.
no. I'm a nerd who makes money. That makes me cool.
Ah,
Oh, you got
I
that.
see.
Tom, how much money are you making?
Oh, funny
mean, how much
question you
you
should ask.
That is actually
Yeah,
one of the.
Yeah, Mr. Cool Guy.
There's the illegal topic, Josh.
That's the illegal topic.
You have
so
been
now-
banned from
so-
talking.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
no,
we
no,
can't
we
talk
can't
about
talk about
personal
money.
finances, huh?
All right, and we're back.
Yeah, that was what a tangent we went on there, Tom.
Oh yeah. Just
Yeah.
Yep, that's getting cut too.
God damn it.
He's gonna leave in one of these.
Yeah, we
we
have to leave.
You know what? This is the one he's leaving in. Fuck it.
Yeah,
We're
he's
not doing this again. We're
These
just talking.
bloopers are gonna get funny.
We should make like a compilation of like, but like after, or not compilation, but like after like every like few months we should just make like deleted clips that like
Are just too messed up.
we'll make like a whole dump channel and everything that like,
That could be funny. I mean, maybe.
because like if we
There are
actually
some
get
jokes that just aren't gonna get released though. I mean,
if we actually get monetized though, we can't like.
Whoa. How about before we talk about getting monetized, let's talk about actually getting people to listen to this
A
crap.
singular viewer.
One viewer.
Okay, 7 people apparently joined my Twitch stream. I was streaming for 10 minutes. It's possible.
they were probably all you in
They
separate.
were all people that you know.
No, no one knows that I have Twitch. No one knows that.
Just plug it on your Twitch then, I guess, you know.
No one knows I have Twitch.
That's the point. We don't know. We don't want to see this.
No one wants to listen to this.
You know, this would be funny to go live. We can do I can run a just chatting. We could run OBS
Yeah.
and have just chatting.
Am I still recording?
I sure hope
God,
so.
I hope-
Yeah, I'm
So
recording.
fucked. I would have killed
Oh,
you if you
thank
weren't
God.
recording.
Yeah, I would have strangled you. I mean,
I would.
For some reason, the person recording this is currently looking up the Taco Bell meme sound, and
Really?
I'm not sure why they're doing that.
use this as the cut in, cut out.
why?
Why are you using the Taco Bell? Why? Why is that funny? It's not. It's just
We're gonna
weird.
end the podcast with like the Home Depot theme.
Oh, I'd love that. I love Home Depot. That's going to stores. I love Home Depot and Sherwin-Williams. Those are some of my
Okay,
favorites.
Home
I mean,
Depot.
yeah,
Home
don't
Depot is cool though.
Don't you
They
have
have.
some, like special treatment from Home Depot? Like you.
Oh
your
yeah, we
company
just
allows
filed
you
for
to-
our contractor account, so we get to go to the pro desk. I mean, anybody can go to the pro desk, and theoretically anyone can park at pro parking. But now we're like entitled, basically.
Now you can legally do that.
You can
Not legally. They're not gonna arrest us. They're like, "Did you park in pro parking and you're not a pro customer? I'm calling the cops."
And then, now you look like you belong there. You're in
Oh, yeah.
high society now, the high society of.
We are the high society. We are the high society of contractors. We've got the Lamborghini waiting outside to haul our dirty tools in.
Privately working with J.P. Morgan.
Oh yeah, JP. Yeah, I call him up on the weekends. We go out to smoke some stogies.
Yeah, you wake them up from the grave to go golfing, to have some smokes together, talk about business.
Me and JP.
You and JP.
Me and the boys vibing with JP Morgan himself. Oh yeah, you seen the stock market recently? Oh, you haven't? You're dead? Oh fuck, man.
Dying is pretty chill. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it
mean,
is,
how
isn't it?
would one know if it's chill? Maybe it's like terrifying.
Okay, well, it's
like,
not exactly exciting, is it?
You know, I wonder if when you die, you could still have a podcast. I hope so. You know,
What?
Guys, I think I want to
like,
invite JP Morgan onto
can
this
I,
podcast.
dude, I would totally want to interview like dead people. Like imagine interviewing like Andrew Carnegie or something. Like that'd be
Dude,
funny.
that would actually be really fun. Like getting to know like people like not just like well dead people, but like people from history that you know,
Yeah.
getting to know
Hey,
like
guys, today we got
JFK.
Da Vinci on the podcast.
We have
And
we have
tomorrow
JFK,
Einstein, and then on
What is
Wednesday
Epstein.
George
You know,
Bush. will be
What
on
is
the
up, guys? Today we are joined by Napoleon Bonaparte, and yeah, you know he's going to talk about the French Revolution. Let's talk Bonaparte. Talk
All right,
about it.
guys. Believe it or not, we got Genghis Khan on here today. He's gonna tell us about China
He's gonna-
And Mongolia and,
and
Russia
Mongolia.
and
And
everything
Russia.
in between.
Yep, that's the glory of it.
today we have
Really?
we have FDR on the podcast. He's going to talk about the Depression.
Oh god.
Or his
Yeah.
plan.
We can have JFK talk
The
about
square deal.
convertibles.
Oh, and that's a cut, ladies and gentlemen.
God damn it! Can I not say anything? Can I not say anything?
That's kind of a joke. I mean, we can probably leave that in, but that's. Oh
So-
Lord.
You know, but anywho, Josh,
Mm.
you know, I with the whole business thing, and then you're still in school. You know,
Mhm.
like how do you manage your stress? And I also know you have like younger siblings, and you have a baby in the house, and like.
Yes, sir. I actually really like my mental health has always been just top notch. So I've never hit a point where I've been really stressed.
Mm.
So managing my stress is, I think, honestly, as simple as, like just kind of honing in on what matters. Sometimes, blowing up things that don't matter as much, and just really taking time. But it's just definitely a lot of stuff, just kind of focusing on what matters most at the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
And there's part of me that just wants to be done with school, like pretty bad. Like I honestly wish this was my senior year, because then easy end of my school year, boom, I'm out of here, business booming, making just stacks.
Hey Josh, just I probably shouldn't be using this podcast for personal gain, but if there's ever an opening for a salesman at your company, just you have my number.
He also has
No,
your
none of
Discord.
us do. We don't have your number, Lucas.
You
No.
know,
Oh,
no,
no, I have his
Josh
number.
has my
No.
number.
Oh,
Josh
oh,
has my
I have
number.
his number.
God,
Him and I used to be lunch boys. We sat
Yeah, we
together
be
at
lunch
lunch.
buddies.
Oh, come on, Lucas. We've been best friends since before kindergarten.
Well, listen, man. There's a long period in between kindergarten and high school in which we didn't even know each other existed.
You know whose fault this is?
Our parents,
My
Jeb
father.
Bush.
your father. Oh my god.
Every single time that I've moved was
Yeah.
because of my father getting a job or losing a job, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And every single, or no, we're never moving again because I no longer have my father's job keeping us moving. So until I go to college and move out of my house, I'm not moving.
We're chilling. Yeah.
I
Now,
have-
actually have a fun fact in this regards to Tom's dad and his work. My dad and Tom's dad used to work together.
Really?
Oh, really?
Really?
They did, and that's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
how. Yeah, I was telling my dad, I was like, "Oh yeah, I have this friend, and his dad recently died, and that's why he goes to North now." And he was like, "Really? What was his name?" Because my dad knew, and he was aware of what happened. He was like, "Yeah, that was really sad. Like he was a really good guy."
Wait, if it's not
It
too
was
sensitive
really
of a
fucked up.
subject, how did it happen?
Heart attack
Oh.
on a treadmill due to an enlarged heart.
Jeez.
That stuff, man, it's fucked up.
He
That's-
died with. Oh fuck. I remember after it happened and we started moving back. My mom, she pulled out some. I don't think they were AirPods. Some generic headphone brand, right? Wireless. And they said, "We found one of these, but the other one was lost somewhere." Because they were both in his ears when he died.
Mm.
And that was really uncomfortable for me to like see the just a thing that was on my father when he died.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, there's a lot of things that I I can't think of without immediately thinking of my father.
Mhm.
He was a chef, right? So anytime
Oh.
I go to like a proper restaurant or
Mhm.
a casino, or someone talks about wanting to become a chef, I immediately think of him.
Mhm.
Anyone with red hair.
Hmm.
In fact, once I actually heard someone laugh with a very similar laugh to him, and that kind of fucked me up for a bit.
It's the little things that are gonna.
Exactly, and it
Yeah, man.
it sucks,
Mhm.
dealing with the grief of it all. But
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, that's to be expected, man. That just some of those wounds just with time is the only real way for those to heal.
hmm
Yeah, it is a really fucking rough situation. It's like, and it I think you handled it well personally. I mean, like you
the summer
seem
of
to be pretty grounded and
the summer of 2019 was the worst period of my life.
Hmm.
And before it was one of my best periods of my life, which is what made it so incredibly horrible.
It was that shift.
If you had told me in like 2019 January the situation I would be in exactly 1 year, I would have fucking slapped you
Mhm.
and said you are full of shit. Because I moved twice in that summer. I moved out of our home in Minnesota and out of our home in Texas,
Mhm.
and then lived with my grandparents for far too long, till the day before quarantine started, actually.
Oh wow.
okay.
And that right there, that year was my worst year, and which is rare because usually each year is better than the last.
Mhm.
You keep going through your life and life just gets better. But it took a really big dip in 2019,
Yeah.
and uh, like the stress of having to take in the
Mhm.
primary comforter in the family because my mom's too distraught to do it, and because my siblings are crying constantly, and to have to try to hold this goddamn family together for that long was just.
Mhm.
But what I can say is that I handled it well, I guess, and I as a person have greatly changed because of it. That was
Mhm.
one of the big like turning points in my life.
Mhm.
I am a very different person from who I was in, a year ago, really. Not a year ago exactly, but a year ago, um, at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know how to describe it. It's just
Mhm.
shit, dude. My dad wasn't even alive for my first like proper girlfriend either.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'm a strong believer in the fact that there's definitely bumps along the road in life, right? And yes, like in the ideal life, it should just be a constant crescendo in a way of just
Mhm.
your life should just be constantly opening up and getting better. But
Mhm.
this is one of those I think that's definitely one of those dips, right? Where you're gonna
Mhm.
dip down pretty far, and I
Mhm.
mean, it's completely understandable considering like how difficult that's got to be. So like
Mhm.
that person isn't there to turn to and to really be there to experience this big thing with you because this is definitely a big part of your life.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, it's I could never like put myself truly in that shoes, but I can only really just try to imagine like fuck man, that's like how I would feel if I didn't have like the backbone that I have, like my family to support me as much as like or not like family in general, but like
Mhm.
specifically like my father is like that
Right.
kind
Yeah. 'Cause I still have a family that supports me, and I've sort of fallen into the family dynamic of being the voice of reason if you will. I can essentially say whatever I want to whoever I want in my family and get away with it.
Mhm.
As bad as that sounds, I have sworn in front of old people who really would not like for me to swear in front of them, and they don't say anything about it. I
Mhm.
I don't know why that is, but
I think confrontation with all people is like sort of a thing that people like to avoid. Is like
that's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
it's like just because they don't like. I think a very common thing for people to do is like they kind of just suck up. Well, not suck up, but suck it up,
Mhm.
and like just
Mhm.
kind of deal with it, And I mean, hell, that's what I do. It's like that.
And
Yeah.
my mom, she spent a lot of her life getting, walked on by her mother, and she can't really speak up to her,
Mm.
which is kind of sad that I have to do that for her. But at the same time, I always try to make my mom look good whenever talking to my grandmother,
Mhm.
which is something that I'm proud of. I think
Mhm.
to
You should be,
Yeah.
yeah, I you know I really love my mom. She's great.
Mhm.
She okay. If it was her who died instead of my father, I would not be here today. I guarantee that I would have killed myself if that had been the case. I could not survive in this world without her.
Fuck, man. And I mean, yeah, that's just
Mhm.
Like I genuinely just wouldn't.
Mhm.
And part of me feels guilty being, somewhat glad that that's the parent who had to die. But
I mean,
Well.
you never. I mean, you never really know, man. It's like
Mhm.
oh
you know,
no,
like, it
I know
could
with
be.
100% certainty that if my mom had died, I would not be sitting here today in the state of mind that I'm in. I would be dead or severely traumatized.
Mhm.
I would not be able to cope with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think with a lot of people, mothers are very important, and that's going if you're whoever you are really. It's
Mhm.
because I feel like at least at my house, like my mom is the one who's like the compassion, the
Mm-hmm.
compassionate one,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
one who really cares
Yeah.
and like
Mhm.
really pays attention to you and wants like your life to be great and for you to be happy. And that's not saying that like a dad doesn't want that. I just think
Right.
it's a very different feeling. Like I
Mhm.
feel like my dad is sort of more like a role model, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Is like he's sort of the at least for me, the guy I look up to and go, yep, that's the type of guy I want to be. Um, while my mom is more like the person I can go to when I feel vulnerable or when I'm worried about something. I think that's
Mhm.
so.
My mom always tried really hard to make sure that that was something that, like, was always. She was always someone that I could turn to. She always made sure that if I fucked up, I should go to her instead of try to hide something from her. And
Mhm.
you know what? It's true. I have never really tried to hide anything from her,
Mhm.
and that level of like trust really helps to make things easy.
Yeah.
I feel like mothers have a much deeper connection to their children than their fathers have. It's just a hormonal thing with how like
Yeah,
you know.
oxytocin and
Mhm.
fucking yeah,
Yeah, hormones. It's like they're the child that you made, and well, you and your father both, but like it's just something about a mom and her child versus a dad and his child. There's two different things. It's while
well,
they can
and
both be equally as caring and compassionate, it's just two different kinds of affection.
well, that isn't necessarily true. I don't think. Like, I'm
Right.
sure the roles could be reversed. I don't
Mhm.
think anything's set in stone like that.
Mhm.
But I will agree that on average, that is the way it goes.
Yeah.
Well, because my father was a workaholic. I honestly didn't see that much of him, and I feel like the stress from all of that also led to his early grave.
Mhm.
Um, but like him not really being around that much, definitely didn't help him like cement himself as a primary parental figure, which I guess is good technically because like it made grieving his death a lot easier, which sounds like a shitty thing to say. You know?
Not really.
I mean, when that person isn't there as much, there's definitely going to be like a slightly different connection with that person. And
Oh yeah.
I know, like, if I hadn't seen someone in a long time, it would be a lot different if I'd seen them very frequently and then they were gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. I guess a good example would be like, say you have like, you know, a friend that you kind of saw occasionally and like, you talk to at school. That's really it. And then one day they got into a car crash and they died. Like, I mean, obviously this is on a different level. He was your father, but like,
Yeah.
like it's like that compared to say, your best friend is in that same car crash or in that same is in that same car
Same scenario.
crash. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like
One day
it's
they're
like,
there, one day
who are
they're
you?
not.
It's like, who are you going to grieve more? The person you like occasionally talk to in the hallway, or the person who is there for you practically all the time? It's like,
Yeah, it's just one day. One day they're there, they're living, breathing, they're existing, and then the next day they're gone.
yeah, I can't imagine that. Especially with it seemed like your father's death was kind of just out of nowhere too. Like it was just like,
Yeah.
like it was really just there was no way to really see it coming.
I mean, technically there was. I mean, like, knowing everything that we know now, there would have potentially been a way, I guess.
But
I
at the
mean,
time.
yeah, but
At the time, no.
hindsight is 20. Yeah, hindsight's 2020. It's like,
There is probably nothing that could have led us on to believe that.
yeah.
And that's just like, I think a big thing is like sometimes like you think that you could go back, it's like, oh man, what if he went for this appointment and then he got this? It's like, it's extremely unlikely he would have, because
It's the
no
what
one
ifs.
expected that to become an issue. No one expects, a heart attack at like such a young age. Like, fuck, man, like that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Wait, how old was he?
My father, when he died?
Yeah.
42 or 43.
Wow, that's.
Yeah, it's fucked for a heart attack. That is insane, right? Like nobody expects that.
You expect a heart
I mean,
attack to be someone decently like of.
He had so many things wrong, I guess. Like, he had, a unhealthy addiction to caffeine energy drinks. He worked way too much. He was overstressed. He is trying to hold a family together and manage all the money. He, had an enlarged heart, obviously, which, plus all the other things, he just couldn't.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. Josh, thank you for your time.
That
It's a
was
pleasure
fucking depressing, man.
talking to you. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah.
Sad boy hours.
That did go into sad boy hours direction, but that's okay.
We have many more.
I mean, it's unfortunate
Yeah,
sometimes, like, to get into like those deeper conversations, you do have to dip into slightly sensitive topics, and I mean, I didn't plan on talking about Tom and his dad tonight, but like sometimes, I mean, fuck, shit comes up, and then I guess you gotta just keep talking about it.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you, Josh. Hopefully, we'll put another episode out soon. This is kind of all new to us, so
For sure.
we'll figure out a schedule when we can. I mean, I'm guessing we're probably going to mostly be doing this on weekends, but I have no idea when this is actually going to be up.
Yeah.
It's just
so
whenever I get the opportunity to edit it. So, all
Yeah.
right.
So I guess we'll see you guys around, and we hope you join us next time.